Okay, this looks like a bag of straw flowers, a wreath, a dripless glue gun, and a glue stick. So the first thing we're going to do before we discard the box is we're going to cut what I call a drip pad using a pair of scissors. Doesn't need to be very big, but since you've got the box here, we're going to cut a piece off the flap and put it here. Okay, so next we're going to open up the glue gun. I already have one, so it's self-evident how to open it. I'm going to suggest that you open it right away and plug it in because it'll take about 3 or 4 minutes for it to get hot. Take the glue stick and put it in this hole here. And it will heat up in 3 or 4 minutes. In the meantime, you can just set it down over the drip pad like that, and we'll go from there. I asked you to get a dinner plate to empty the flowers into, and it makes it a lot easier for us to sort out what we have. There we go, and work on our wreath that way. So we're just going to sort these out a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about the wreath. Just to get them sorted out in one layer. There, these are so beautiful. I love the reflectivity of the petals. Now, take a look at your wreath. There are 2 sides. Because it's a natural product, there's nothing perfect about these. You want to look at it and see what might be the flattest side. If there are any errant pieces like this, you might want to reweave them in, which is easy enough to do. Look it over carefully. I think this is the side we're going to use. We're going to be making a candle ring with this wreath, and I am most interested in symmetry in putting this together, though you don't need to be. I imagine my guests sitting around a table and looking at the centerpiece. I'm going to put this on a table runner with flowers, and ultimately I'll make a pair of these. So with symmetry in mind, I'm going to suggest that you sort out the largest blooms, and I want you to take a look carefully at this. While this looks like it's the front, it actually is the back, and this is the front here. So you can see this pad. This is actually where all of the stamens were. So that's the front. And what I'm going to suggest you do is lay the large blooms, the largest blooms, in a star-pointed pattern. And let's alternate the colors a bit, if we can, like this. So this will end up giving us some reference points to work with filling out the wreath. So a little bit about the glue gun. This is a great glue gun. It's the only one on the market that touts itself as dripless. It's not, in fact, entirely dripless, but you'll see that there is a little tiny extension at the tip of this gun that actually narrows the thread that comes out of the gun so that it doesn't just keep oozing glue when you're not using it. Most glue guns do, and you lose probably 20 to 25% of your glue stick just in melting. So I was really delighted to find this. Keep in mind that the glue coming out of this glue stick is extremely hot and will burn you. So you need to be very careful as you're working with the straw flowers and the glue. The straw flowers are light and tend to make you fumble a little bit, but I'll show you what we're going to do. Two things are important to look at. One is how to hold the straw flower when you're working with it. So you pick up the straw flower like this. This is the top. You want to turn it over because we're going to be gluing from the back. So this is top, this is bottom. And then take your index finger and your thumb, grab some petals like this, pinch them together and hold it. This is a very firm grip. Then you're going to take the glue gun, the other safety issue that we need to consider, and understand that the tip is extremely hot. Never touch it while it's on. And the glue is also very hot. So if this happens to flip and land on you, or you're not paying attention and glue gets on your thumb or your index finger, it will definitely blister and burn and hurt. It'll take several days for that to heal. So you depress the trigger and run a line of glue bisecting the center of the flower. Pull the tip away, it releases a thread. Now that you've got the glue going across, you want to make sure that this glue line actually crosses the parallel lines of the grapevine like this. So put it across, press it down with your other index finger, hold it for a count of 15 to 20. After that count, you can release. This is springing a little bit, so that means it's not fully adhering to the wreath, so I press it down again. Count to another 10. And then release. And you can see it's nice and firm. So we're going to repeat this. This is a kind of a complex bloom here in that it's two blooms together, but it's the same process. You take your index finger and your thumb, grab several layers of petals, turn it over. If it doesn't feel quite stable, reset using your other hand to stabilize it. This one's a little bit tricky because it's two blooms stuck together. So we're going to actually run the glue this way, and I have to be careful not to hit my thumb because this will actually fit over the ridge of the grapevine. So once again, take your glue gun, squeeze out some glue across the flower, release it, wait a second, pull up, the thread extends, you can pull the thread away, then turn the straw flower over, and because this is a double straw flower, I'm going to put two fingers in the two centers and press gently, again counting 15 to 20. Still a little movement, so I'm going to press it again. Okay, now that's stuck. So now you know how to safely glue the straw flowers to the wreath. When you're finished, if you see some threads, it's very easy to just pull them off. Little broken petals, same thing. You can blow on it as well. So now we continue. The strategy behind this is to put contrasting colors adjacent to these large anchor blossoms. Start with some medium sizes. I'm going to use this one. And if you do this with contrasting colors laid adjacent to the flowers that are already in place, it makes for a much more interesting appearance as your eye moves around the wreath. I also like the assortment of smaller buds to larger full blooms, and how it contributes to the texture and the visual interest of the wreath as you're working around. So I'll take a little one and I'll show you how to place that one. This won't take that much glue, just a little cross. And then place it here and press it down. The other thing to keep in mind, if you're going to use this as a candle ring, you want to keep the interior diameter fairly clear of the bulk of the flowers. And what I'm talking about is this space in here. One of the things that's really nice to do is to recycle a florist glass cylinder and put it in the center. A 5-inch diameter cylinder fits very nicely in here with either a candle holder and a taper or a pillar candle inserted in the center. And again, because it's on the table and not on the wall, in the case of the candle ring, you're going to build your straw flowers on the top flat surface and around the outer edge. Where there may be depressions with a substantial gap in the inner ring, you can put some flatter straw flowers, like this is a fairly flat one, for instance in here, and it doesn't encroach much on the interior diameter. So that's the strategy for making a candle ring. If you are making a wreath to hang on a wall, then your strategy would be, in fact, to fill the inside and maybe go over the edges to a degree, but the eye is mostly looking at the flat surface as well as the inside surface. Generally, you can't see the top of it, and you may hang it by a ribbon with a bow either here or up on the wall. You might see it if you're rounding a corner, it's on a door. You might see the outer edges here, so you might want to put a few straw flowers. There's plenty to cover the whole ring. Okay, so we're going to continue. I'm making a candle ring, so I'm concentrating on the top and the outside diameter of the grapevine. Take another, run the line across a diagonal away from your thumb. Release the trigger, break the thread. And with this, I'm going to put it on the outer edge here. So it's perfectly fine to pick up your wreath to work with it. This is springing a little bit, so give it another couple seconds. There. And do that with a little one too. So the idea is to keep mixing the palette all around the perimeter so that the color distribution is balanced, and also keep in mind varying the relative size of the heads. And we have a completed wreath. So we're going to step away and I will take you into my dining room and show you how we've set this up. So here's the dining table, and what we've got here are 2 gold candlesticks with burgundy candles in them that pick up the burgundy in the Strawflowers. Alternatively, we can switch these out and put in the candle vase hurricane that I described to you before, like that, which is handsome in itself as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. Clearly you can also set just the pillar candle in the ring if you prefer that look, but like I said, you do want to be paying attention. You don't want to leave your candle burning in a room that no one is in watching. Okay? Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and I hope you really enjoyed putting your candle rings together. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.